Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
To Monday. Hey, Tom.
Good morning. Is that your new stick now?
I don't know. The wheels are spinning slowly this morning. I almost forgot what I was supposed to be doing.
Okay. I don't think.
Well, no, I got distracted. Here's what happened, if you want to know the truth. So you and I had a meeting on Friday where we talked about tweaking this a little bit, and we were going to do some specific things at specific times. Yeah. I didn't write it down, so I have no clue what we're doing and when, which is throwing me big time.
Because I know you like that.
I like to know what's happening. Yes.
That means I can throw some loops at you, huh?
Please. So that's Tom Brush. I'm Bob Graham, and this is today's Antidote, our daily program where we get together, Tom and I, and we try to figure out what's going on for us, for the people around us, for the world at large, trying to figure out the easier path to success. We each have our own journey that we're on. There are stops along the way, some good, some not so good. What Tom and I endeavored to do each day is help you figure out how to get past some of the obstacles, how to see things a little differently, and how to move forward more easily and more efficiently. How is that, Tom?
That's not bad. Although a thought went into my head. I have a thought.
Please add it.
No, we'll talk about it afterwards. It's about the whole process part. It's after our show.
After our show. Well, that's not fair. No one's going to enjoy that. We should let them be in the whole sausage making.
No, that's okay. We can hold some things to the vest, a little. We'll tell them about it later.
Why don't we do this right now, Tom? Why don't we tell people about that workshop? How's that sound?
Why don't we talk about the topic first, and then we can talk about it.
Okay. All right. We can talk about the topic. Would you like to introduce that?
Sure. So our topic for this week, if you don't know, if you haven't watched our show, we have a topic each week. And we discuss that topic through different phases of it so that you get a better understanding of it's not just a one and done show. It's let's dive into this. Because I think so often we have a conversation about something and it can be very short, which is okay. And there's the opportunity to dive deeper. Because I think so often one of the things that keeps us stuck is we don't have a chance to fully bring out all of the pieces about that. Our topic this week is Renegade Way. And yes, we could have that discussion today and then move on to something tomorrow and move on to something the next day. And I think this, by doing it over the week, it gives us a chance to not only have this conversation here, we will also have it in our Ring of Renegades Facebook group. And so I think it's a great opportunity for us to really dive into what is the Renegade Way. And what are 5 things that you can take away from that to help you along your Renegade Way? And before we dive into today's topic, which is what it is, Bob, do you want to talk a little bit about our upcoming workshop?
I would love to talk about our upcoming workshop. So we are doing a workshop. I believe it's March 21st or 22nd. Is that right? 22nd? I think, okay. I thought it was 21st. I may have gotten it wrong in an email, Tom.
Heavens. Don't worry about that now.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, if you got an email that says it was the 21st, I'm a liar. This is a workshop designed to help you figure out, as I said earlier, an easier path. That's our whole thing. This workshop, we're going to help you figure out your pathway. Understanding what's getting in your way. We're going to literally walk you through a process that's going to help you eliminate your obstacles. I know it sounds really hard to believe, but Tom and I have used this process. We've done this type of thing with each other and with other people with groups, and we're going to bring it to you. It is totally free, but that doesn't mean it's not valuable. So schedule your time right now. You can go, he didn't give us a link. I'll put the link in the chat that you can go to so that you can get onto the list for one of those 2 events. It's going to be over Zoom. It's going to be interactive. This is not going to be Tom and me talking at you. It's quite the opposite. So if you're looking for how to get ready for that next quarter of the year, this is the perfect way to do that.
Absolutely. It's a great chance for you to figure out what's in your way and how to eliminate those obstacles, how to remove them so that you can get to your next step. You can reach your next destination, and you can ultimately achieve the goals that you have set for yourself and the intentions that you want to make for yourself and for your business or your work. So we hope that you will join us on Monday, March 22nd. As Bob said, we have either a morning session or an afternoon session. So we hope we'll see you there. And it's funny, as we were talking about that, I got wondering, well, why wasn't this week's topic Renegade Pathway? Maybe we should change it to Renegade Pathway.
We could do that.
Is that going to mess you up in trying to think about the topic and what you're offering?
No, it's not. Oh, I am sorry, Tom. I'm totally distracted.
Yeah, you're trying to do multiple things. So we're gonna move.
No,
forward.
I've just realized I did something wrong yesterday. I'm mad at myself. It's okay. It's all good.
Can you do anything about it now except move forward? What'd you learn from it? All right, so you want to do this?
Yeah, let's do this.
What did you learn? What went well?
Wrote 2 really great emails last week.
Awesome.
And sent the wrong one.
What didn't
yesterday? Sent the wrong one yesterday.
Okay. So what would you do differently next time?
On the bright side, I didn't mess up the date because it didn't have a date.
So what would you do differently?
Better scheduling, better planning.
Okay.
Better naming conventions.
How about just different?
Different would be good. Yeah. But you know me, I am at heart a perfectionist, and when I don't do things that should have been easy, it frustrates me. What's interesting to me is I'm working with a couple of clients who are going through the same issues. And it's really good for me this morning to actually go through this myself, because it helps me realize after a couple of days where it's like, really, why can't these people do what they're supposed to do? Here I am not doing what I'm supposed to do.
Well, here's one of the challenges in that I would offer.
Sure.
Supposed to is kind of like should have. Supposed to. Okay, great. They were supposed to do it. You were supposed to send 1 email out. How about it says your plan was to send 1 email out?
Yes.
Didn't happen the way you planned. Okay.
Yes.
So did the world come to an end?
No.
Great. Can we move forward from it?
We can.
And we can learn from it, right?
And I believe we just explained what the Renegade Way is with that example.
That's a little bit about what it is.
I think it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Things are going to come up, stumbles, roadblocks, falls, and we have to figure out a way past them. I could get totally obsessed with this. You know me, I could.
You started to. There's no doubt.
I started to, absolutely. And one of the things I've gotten good at is when I start down that path, I have people I call. I know the signs. I know the roadblock that's coming up. It's going to be a day of, Bob, geez, you can't do anything right. I can't believe you messed this thing up. It's probably going to do this and this and this. I could feel it coming on. You could see it.
Oh, there's no doubt. When the image was up and you were like, oh, wait, what day did I put? I could just imagine your mind. Here's the challenge, though, I think, is you were talking it out. Whether you were talking it out to me, to the audience, people listening, people who will be listening. How many of us choose to do that or have that opportunity?
Very few of us. And if it were me in my own head, I would have gotten to about 8:23 today and questioned every single thing I've ever done in my entire life professionally. I would have been able to call up the catalogs of other things I screwed up. Been like, oh, I did this thing, in 1979, I did this thing wrong. In 2004, I did this thing wrong. 2007. And I don't think I'm unique. I think we always have the replay reel of our greatest mistakes. And we can call them up at a moment's notice and sit there and watch the replay reel and be like, yep, here it is again. Here it is again. When so much more effective is what we just did. Hey, what can you do about it?
I will share that I think it's, as you were saying that, I feel like in the last year or two, I don't remember that replay reel. Could I, if I sat here and thought about it and come up with, absolutely. There's tons of things that I would do differently. And I think because I think about them as doing them differently, I'm thinking about moving forward rather than looking back about things that there's nothing I can do anything about at this moment. Those actions have all happened and I now have to move forward, and so I think for some reason, I'm less and less playing that replay. There were things that I wanted to get done, some images that I wanted to create. There's a video at the end that I wanted to do, and it didn't get done. And I'm not beating myself up. I think about it a little bit, and these are things that happened 2 or 3 days ago, rather, not going back and back and back. And I find that as I think more about how do I move forward, I think less about the path that's behind me.
Do you think some of that, Tom, for you is because you've played sports and you officiate, and those are two areas where you don't have the ability to look backwards? If you make a bad call on the lacrosse field, which I'm sure you have somewhere in the last couple of years, you can do very little about it, right? You can't go back and wait, let me think about this. You're running down to the other end of the field because there's another call to make.
Yes, and trust me, there are lots of times that I could look back and and dwell on the call I made. I have a couple calls from this weekend that I was going back thinking like, I'm not sure. And I haven't beat myself up about it. I've tried to think about, okay, well, what new knowledge, experience, and perspective do I need so that the next time I'm in that situation, it happens. I can think of a very specific play that happened, and I was thinking about, I wonder if that call was right, was correct, and I played it through my head when one of my partners just asked me about it, and the more I played it, when I quickly played it through my head, I was like, I'm not 100% sure that was correct, and I do also know what I was thinking about when it happened. So that allowed me to say, okay, great. Now, as I'm thinking about it, how do I add that to my experience and my knowledge so that I can move forward? We had a situation come up where something happened that was out of the ordinary. We had a stick that was weird looking. And because it was so weird looking, we didn't examine some of the things that we might have considered, which I think is things that happen in our business all the time or in our work. Something happens that's odd. And it's so odd that it makes you focus on the oddity rather than what is the
insight.
What are the details about it that if it wasn't so weird, I would have been like, yeah, this is what we need to do. Because it was so weird or unique, it was like I couldn't get my mind to the place of these are the steps I then need to take. And so, as we look back on it Saturday night, we're like, that was, here are some things we could do differently. We didn't really beat ourselves up, or at least I didn't. I tried to say okay, it's a lesson learned for going forward. Now, one of my partners sent me a note back that was like, yeah, but I should have. So I wanted to be like, you could have, you should have, and we didn't. So how can we think about it as next time? And it's interesting for me. Those are the times I think I learn the most. Those are the moments that I will remember. And what I have found is that when something like that happens, that I have taken the time to stop and think about, the next time it comes up, I am much better prepared. If I beat myself up over what I could have, should have done, the opportunity, not sure I would be as prepared. I would be worried oh my God, that's the same thing. Here's what happened again. My employee, who came back and was all upset about something, came back again, and I didn't handle it great. And I'm so stressed about that I'm probably not going to handle it great the next time. I didn't take the time to think about how can this add to what's real for me so that I can move forward.
Tom, Tim asks an interesting question, which is anything 100% correct though, Tom?
Well, I've struggled with this a little bit too. I think that math, until proven differently, which we could, we had that conversation about Pluto when it was a planet, now it's not, and who knows what the deal is. So I would say that 1 + 1 = 2 is correct, at least for the moment, until somebody comes up and says, you've been looking at this in the wrong perspective, with the wrong perspective, or here is a different perspective of how you might look at 1 + 1 and what does it equal.
Sorry.
No, so I think that there is correct in the moment based on what we know. And that until we have further knowledge, experience, and perspective, it could be correct.
So I think to get back to our topic, which is Renegade Way, what is it? We've been talking through it. The last 10 minutes, this is to me the Renegade Way, is talking through and recognizing the things we can discover from what we do, whether it's something we do that we think is perfect or something we do that we think is flawed, and learning what we can learn from it so that going forward, we can have a bigger impact. So we can choose more carefully, not wisely always, but just truly, the more information information is power. The more I know about a situation, the better I can address it, the more likely I am to find the solution that fits for me and for my clients, just like we've been doing these broadcasts for almost a year. They are so much better than they were a year ago.
And there's a pretty good chance that a year from now, they will be even better.
There are people right now out there, Tom, going, oh, God, no, please. I thought this would end when the pandemic ends. The long siege must come to a stop.
What if the pandemic is like our pathway and it'll never end? It'll always be there. It's just a part of who we are.
Right.
And if it's not the pandemic, what's next?
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, is you think about the Renegade Way is almost like it's not perfect. It's not great. It's not horrible. It's real. And as we move through it, there are going to be either sides of it where we think about these things. If we just think about it as real, okay, this is what is real in this moment. And as soon as that moment is over, something's changed. If I go back today and that they have the video available for that game, and I can look at the call, I'm going to get new knowledge, experience, and perspective, because the video angle is going to be different than my angle was. And I might look at that and be like, based on that perspective, I might have made a different call. Same thing with our work. If we, again, when we stop and say, what was my client's challenge? Not how was I trying to impose what was real for me on them. I step back and say, when I think about the way they're approaching it, it's a different perspective. And then different things might result from that perspective.
Got another comment from Tim. And I want to point out, Tom, somehow Tim knows how to make that O with the two little dots over top of it.
Umlaut? Isn't that what that is? An umlaut?
Maybe it is. I'm impressed that on a Monday morning, Tim could do that. Schrodinger's principle of being correct. It's correct until we look at it through the lens of hindsight.
That just means that Tim was watching The Big Bang Theory, and that show was on. It's the only reason I know about Schrodinger's principle.
I'm going to tell you, Tim's probably read more about Schrodinger than most of us. Yeah, and Tim is now saying that's an umlaut. Very nice, very nice. Points to you, Tom.
It was just part of my knowledge. That's all.
Think anyone's named their child umlaut?
Maybe.
It's such a great word. And Tim says, I've never watched Big Bang Theory. There you have it. So nice try. So Tom, we're to that point where we should do the one thing. But before that, there's something else we have to preview.
Certainly. Do you want to go ahead, or you want me to go ahead and do that? Because
I'd like you to go ahead and do that because I have no idea what it is. I'm guessing Clubhouse.
So we have a couple of things actually this morning. Sorry, at 11 o'clock, we will give you a chance to launch your week by setting out your intentions. So 11 a.m. if you're a member of Clubhouse, remember it's for iPhone and iPad users. If you need an invitation, let Bob or I know. We each have a few, I think, to give out. But this is an opportunity for you to come and set yourself right on the week. Set out what you are intending to do. What is the pathway that you have for this week? And again, I think, sometimes we think of pathways as these big, long, what am I going to do over the next year, 10 years, 5 years? Could be, what am I going to do this week? What is my pathway for the week? So here's your opportunity. And you can also then join us on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern for our leaders check-in and check-up, and Friday at 11:30 a.m. when we will go through lessons learned and shared, which is something that I really have enjoyed, that conversation, because I think it's valuable. The other thing
I enjoy all three of them, Tom, because I think it's really sequenced well. We're at the beginning of the week and we're doing it today, and you can figure out what you're trying to accomplish. Say it out loud to yourself and everyone. Middle of the week, how are you doing? And end of the week, how'd you do and what did you learn?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great process. Again, for those people who aren't really big into lists and, yes, that can work with this as well. And maybe this is all you're looking for is like, okay, what am I intending? How's it going? And then what did I learn at the end of the week so that I can then figure out what my way is next week? The other thing I'd like to share is that tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, we have our Renegade Roundup. It is the second Tuesday of the month. So at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, we will be joining for our Renegading Network event where you have a chance to meet other members of our community and really get to know a little bit more about them, who they are, how they tick, and how there might be opportunities for you to better understand them so you might be able to work together. So we hope that you will join us for both of those opportunities. Again, Clubhouse today at 11 a.m. and our Renegade Roundup tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. How was that, Bob?
That was awesome. That one snuck up on me. I was looking at my calendar. I was like, that wasn't there.
Yeah.
So with that, Tom, what's your one thing for today?
I think when I think about the Renegade pathway, because I think I'm going to make that change, whether you want to or not.
I'm fine with that.
I think when we talk about what it is, and we probably didn't get as much into this as it is that it is our journey. It is where we are trying to go with our work, with our business, maybe even with our personal life. And I think that it's us choosing the path that we want to take. And I know we didn't talk a lot about that. I think we talked about it indirectly in that how we look at things and how we look at choices that we've made, actions that we've taken, and just see them as what's real. This is what is happening in the moment. And as soon as it happens, things are going to change. And so our next step may be a little bit different. It will be impacted by what's going on. So I think that would be my one thing is just, start to maybe look at what is your pathway and how do you want to travel it?
I like that. I can't add anything to it. I think that really says it well. And, I think one thing I've learned going back and watching old episodes, there's no benefit to me restating what you just said so beautifully.
Well, thank you.
Sure. So maybe we should wrap this episode up, Tom, for today. We will be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. for another episode of today's Antiodote. And you can hang with us at 8 a.m. and move right into that networking mid-morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time networking tomorrow. And if you can get there today at 11:30 Eastern Time, join us on Clubhouse. It's sure to be a fun ride.
Just a reminder, it's 11 a.m.
Oh, 11 a.m. I'm sorry.
11:30 a.m. That's okay.
So many different times.
So much to keep track of. Thank heavens we have little graphics that we can put up and keep track of.
Yes.
So I hope that you all enjoyed that conversation today. Please share what your one thing is. If you want to talk a little bit about your Renegade pathway, that would be great. Put it in the comments. We look forward to seeing you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. And if you are not yet a member of the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, please join us. We have conversations like this with other business leaders, entrepreneurs, people who are trying to figure out their next step. The way you can join is just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and just ask to join. It is a private group because we're trying to create a community of individuals who are helping one another move forward. So you just have to ask to join, and then just tell us why you're a renegade, and you can become a part of our growing community. So with that, we hope we will see you either on Clubhouse today, in the Facebook room, or we will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time for our next edition of today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Carving your own path is tough. You want and need a community to offer you insights and advice, share inspiration, provide support, and save you time and money. But where do you find all that? Here's the easy answer: the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where leaders, entrepreneurs, and business owners identify their next steps. Here's some of what you will find at the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Just go to ringofrenegades.com and join today. Find and accomplish those next steps.